behind your startup? Why you put it together?
Absolutely. So my name is Caroline Goen, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of the Levo League. And we really are creating the generation-defining career community for women. And that came out of a sort of personal experience coming into the workforce during the recession. And we're really creating a product that addresses the needs that we had ourselves and that our broader generation has, based on the research.
Fabulous, fabulous.
So I led up our investment round, and we actually haven't taken venture funding. We raised an angel round with very carefully chosen investors from the beginning. And one thing that I think really set us apart and worked for us was being very cognizant of the kinds of thought partners that we wanted involved in our round.
Oh, great.
So up front, before it became about a specific person, right, we sat down and we thought to ourselves, okay, how many investors do we think we would like to involve? What are the different skill sets and backgrounds of those people? Do we want a media expert? Do we want a women's community expert? Do we want a technologist, right? And who are the people who not only have those skill sets, but are extremely passionate about the same approach that we have for our own company? And we reached out to those specific people and we shared our motivations with them, and we were very careful to share our end state vision as well as the ways in which we thought we were going to go there in a very tactical way, so that it's really tough because when you're starting a company, it's chicken and egg, right? You're not going to know 100% of what's going to happen at the point of your angel rounds. But you have to know enough about what success means for you to be able to get people bought into the journey. So it was sort of a delicate balance of buying people into the broader vision with a tactical way to get there, knowing that, full disclosure, that tactical way is going to shift, right? Depending on audience feedback, depending on the circumstances that arise.
Right.
And it was that journey and that dialogue that I think worked best for us when we were engaging with individual angel investors.
That sounds very sane and a fabulous strategy.
Thanks.
And I think probably will work better for you in the long run as a company. And I was wondering, you obviously led the investing round, but I was wondering how it was for you, Amanda, during that process. Obviously, what part of the startup do you sort of take responsibility for?
Definitely. So I'm Amanda Pouchot, and I am our founder, and I oversee our product and content strategy. So aptly titled the Chief Innovation Officer, leading innovation. It's great because one of the really important things about finding a co-founder is making sure you have someone that you can trust. And a lot of times it's a blind trust because you have to divide and conquer. You can't both do everything, and you have to trust that the other person is working just as hard as you. So when looking for a co-founder, it's really important that you have the same work ethic. That is the most important thing, and that you're putting your heart and soul into this product, and you're gonna have disagreements. That's how the best things happen, is when you don't agree about something and you come together and you find the best solution. And so my role is really about making sure that we have the best solution to the problems that we're trying to attack. And I think one of the strong parts about both of us is that we attack problems in different ways, but we're very able to work together and come together and create what the best possible solution is.
So I'm wondering too, if not the most important piece, as far as, I think that's fabulous, feedback and information about choosing a co-founder. I think it's really important for us to be aware of. But I'm wondering, isn't the most important thing is that you would share the same values? Even more than the work ethic. I think obviously you're both on the same page, and so you've brought your individual talents together, and that's like awesome, because like it's much more powerful than one person can accomplish. But I think even that above the work ethic, would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I think that, to really function as a team where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, you have to have that blind trust, as Amanda was saying. And I really believe that that's rooted in values. And we view work ethic as one of the main components of those values, but there are obviously interpersonal values, there are obviously professional values, and all those things together, I think once you match those, I really believe that if you have the will to learn something, you're going to learn it. So a more successful relationship long term is not necessarily a relationship where everybody's skills are diametrically opposed in the most complementary way possible and everything's hunky-dory. It's about the mindset, because the evolution of that relationship is going to be dependent on the values of those two people over time.
You've obviously thought about this quite a bit.
Yes.
It's fabulous. It's really great information to share with other women and female entrepreneurs. And I'm wondering, I did hear that you had some fabulous women behind you in your investment rounds. Do you want to briefly share who they are and how that was, meeting those mentors?
Sure, absolutely. So we were very fortunate that we found real sponsors through our angel round, and I think that was the biggest surprise for us. You don't really come into a round, especially as a first-time entrepreneur, and expect that you're going to find those people you can actually call your mentors, who you can text message with questions, who will video chat you if they're across the world and you need help. And we're very fortunate that we had women like Gina Bianchini, and we had someone like Sheryl Sandberg basically sponsor us and put her name behind us, or someone like Susan Line on the East Coast, or Fran Hauser. I mean, yesterday we were on a panel at Facebook, and Clara from Hearsay Social, who's an incredible,
Clara Sheed,
who's an incredible example, said you need to take time to take a step back when you're starting a company and celebrate what you've accomplished, because it's a series of sprints that look like a marathon from the outside, and sometimes you lose sight of what's happening when you're in it. And I really, really feel that way about these incredible women. If I think back to 6 months ago and when I didn't know any of these people and how much of an influence they are on my life today, and it's incredible that that's happened. And I really believe that cultivating those relationships, and it goes back to the idea of thought partnership, engaging as thought partners is really the best thing that we can do.
Such a key piece. And would you have any advice for women that might be in the same place you were 6 months ago, looking to find that financing and the right thought mentors to work with? Would you have any advice, either of you?
Sure, we both have plenty of advice.
Yes, lots and lots of advice. I think the most important thing is to really think through your business broadly and to dream big enough. Like that's what we've learned, is you're really only constrained by how big you can dream, and really understand, yes, my dreams are this big, but then identify steps on how to get there and goals, and break it down into phases, or break it down into, okay, we got to get this first and then we can go there. And also testing. That's been one of our strongest things that we've been able to do, is take what we've learned from our users, from our community, and really discover what others want, and then be able to take that information back and say, okay, we know this will work because we've tested it. And that, I think, gives us a lot of credibility when we speak with advisors and investors and mentors who want to get involved.
Right. And do you have any advice at all for women?
Absolutely. I think that, the fact that we're able to relate to each other so well, which I see women do physically so often in, personal settings, is a big strength when it comes to involving investors. Because at the end of the day, your investors are people, and they're people who are taking a risk to stand alongside you, and approaching them with humility and always keeping them sort of updated and in the loop, and having them feel part of the team is, I think, something that needs to be done from the beginning. You set a tone at the beginning of the company that sets the standard for that culture with the investors. And I mean, one of my mentors actually told me at the beginning of the round, when I was a little nervous about speaking to some of these people, right? Everybody's a person. The person you're facing is a person too. Try to think about, what is it about what you're doing that resonates with their lives? What is it about your vision that you think is going to inspire them? Because it's different for each person. And figure out what that is, and then really talk about that. And in the process of doing that, you need to understand the person across the table from you, and you need to be really empathetic to them. And you need to, in order to do that, you've got to be humble. Because if you're filling up the room, there's no space for them.
So one of the things that I learned from video interviewing VCs and angels and women founders was that a lot of VCs said that a lot of men actually don't use that technique. They actually act like superstars and extend themselves and talk so big, you know, that probably a lot of it's more puffed up than actually substantial. So this is a really different technique, but then I can see that you girls are really starting to explore, like being pioneers really, along with a lot of other female entrepreneurs, pioneering new ways of going about this rather than recreating the old ways that men traditionally have led the storm. So, you know, congratulations to both of you. And you're both so inspiring, and I'm sure that your platform will inspire many people to come.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.